Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Glass Horse Project's Beware the Ides, the Socially Distant Shakespeare series. My name is Taylor K. Corbett and I'm the director of this production, and we're producing this in partnership with the Rotch-Jones-Duff House and Garden Museum. Due to COVID-related safety parameters, this episode of Beware the Ides is being streamed on YouTube Live via Zoom. A video recording of this episode will be available on YouTube later tonight. Please stay tuned after the program for a talk back with myself and some of the actors. Tonight's episode features pieces from Caesar, the Glass Horse Project's female-led adaptation of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, Taming of the Shrew, and Sir Thomas More. Our talented cast for the evening includes Angelique Dina, David Adams Murphy, Mary D'Antonio, Kyle Embo, and Megan Griet. We would like to thank the Massachusetts Cultural Council for crucial funding in support of this project. Please sit back and enjoy the episode. We're the Glass Horse Project, and we're shattering expectations.
Most noble sister, you have done me wrong.
Judge me, you gods, wrong I mine enemies. And if not so, how should I wrong a brother?
Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrongs, and when you do them...
Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm, to sell and march your offices for gold to undeservers.
I an itching palm? You know that you are Brutus that speak this, or by the gods this speech were else your last.
The name of Cassius honors this corruption, and chastisement therefore doth hide his head.
Chastisement?
Remember March, the Ides of March, remember. Did not great Julia bleed for justice' sake? What villain that did touch and stab her body and not for justice? What? Now one of us that struck the foremost woman of this world, shall we now base our fingers and base bribes? I'd rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman.
Brutus, bay not me, I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. I am a soldier, I older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions.
Go to. I say you are not Cassius.
I am.
I say you are not.
Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Have mind upon your health. Tempt me no further.
Away, slight man.
Is possible.
Hear me, for I will speak. Must I give way in room to your rash choler? Shall I be frightened when a madman stares?
Oh, ye gods, must I endure all this?
All this, I and more. Must I observe you? Must I budge? Must I bend and stoop under your testy humor? Oh, by the gods, you will digest the venom of your spleen, though it do split for you. For from this day forth I'll use you for my mirth, yea, and for my laughter, when you are waspish.
Is it come to this?
You say you are a better soldier. Let it appear so. Take the vaunting true. It shall please me well, for mine own part. I shall be glad to learn of noble men.
You wrong me every way. You wrong me, Brutus.
You have done what you should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats. For I am armed so strong in honesty. They pass by me as the idle wind, which I respect not.
Tomorrow, Kate. For that's your name, I hear.
Well, have you heard but something hard of hearing? They call me Katerina that do talk of me.
You lie, in faith, for you are called plain Kate. And bonny Kate, and sometimes Kate the cursed, but Kate, the prettiest Kate in Christendom, thy virtues spoke of, and thy beauty sounded, yet not so deeply as to thee belongs. Myself am moved to woo thee for my wife.
Moved? Let him that moved you hither remove you hence. I knew you at the first. You were immovable.
What's a movable?
A joined stool.
Thou hast hit it. Come, sit on me.
Asses are made to bear, and so are you.
Women are made to bear, and so are you.
No such jade as you with me, you mean?
Alas, good Kate, I will not burden thee, for but knowing thee to be but young and light.
Too light for such a swain as you to catch, and yet as heavy as my weight should be.
Should be. Should buzz.
Well ta'en and like a buzzard.
Oh, slowing turtle, shall a buzzard take thee?
Aye, for a turtle as he takes a buzzard.
Come, come, you wasp. In faith, you are too angry.
If I be waspish, best beware my sting.
My remedy is then to pluck it out.
Aye, if the fool could find it where it lies.
Not where a wasp does wear his sting. In his tail. Whose tongue?
Yours if you talk of tales. And so farewell.
What, with my tongue in your tail? Nay, come again, good Kate. I am a gentleman.
That I'll try.
I swear I'll cuff you if you strike again.
So may you lose your arms. If you strike me, you are no gentleman, and if no gentleman, why then no arms?
A herald, Kate? Oh, put me in thy books.
What is your crest, a coxcomb?
A combless cock, and so Kate will be my head.
No cock of mine, you crow to like a craven.
Nay, come, Kate, come. You must not look so sour.
'Tis my fashion when I see a crab.
Why, here's no crab, and therefore look not sour.
There is, there is.
Then show it me.
By a glass I would.
What, do you mean my face?
Well aimed of such a young one.
Now, by St. George, I am too young for you.
Yet you were withered. I care not.
Nay, hear you, Kate. In sooth, you scape not so.
I chafe you if I tarry, let me go.
No, not a whit. I find you passing gentle. For 'twas told me Kate was rough and coy and sullen, and now I find report a very liar, for thou art pleasant, gamesome, passing courteous, yet slow in speech and sweet as springtime flowers. Thou canst not frown, thou canst not look askance, nor bite the lip as angry wenches will, nor hast thou pleasure to be cross at talk, but thou with mildness entertainst thy wooers, with gentle conference soft and affable. Why does the world report that Kate doth live? O slanderous world! Kate, like the hazel twig, is straight and slender, and as brown in hue as hazelnuts, and sweeter than the kernels. Let me see thee walk. Thou dost not halt.
Go, fool, and whom thou keep'st command.
Did ever Diane so become a grove as Kate this chamber with her princely gate? Be thou Diane, and let her be Kate, and let Kate be chaste, and Diane sportful.
Where did you study all this goodly speech?
It is extempore from my mother wit.
Ah, witty mother. Witless else her son.
Am I not wise?
Yes, keep you warm.
Marry, so I mean, sweet Katerina, in thy bed. And thus, setting all this chat aside, thus in plain terms, your father hath consented that you shall be my wife. Your dowry agreed on, and will you, nill you, I will marry you. Now, Kate, I am a husband for your turn. For by this light by which I see thy beauty that doth make me like thee well, you must be married to no man but me. For I am he am born to tame you, Kate, and take you from a household Kate to a Kate conformable as other household Kates. Here comes your father. Never make denial. I must and will have Katerina to my wife.
Grant them removed, and grant that this your noise hath chipped down all the majesty of England. Imagine that you see the wretched strangers, their babies at their backs with their poor luggage, plodding to the ports and coasts for transportations, and that you sit as kings in your desires. Authority quite silenced by your brawl, and you in ruff of your opinions clothed. What had you got? I'll tell you. You had taught how insolence and strong hands should prevail, how order should be quelled, and by this pattern, not one of you should live to be an aged man. For other ruffians, as their fancies wrought, with self-same hand, self-reason, and self-right, would shark on you, and men, like ravenous fishes, would feed on one another. Oh, desperate as you are, wash your foul minds with tears, and your hands that you like rebels lift against the peace, lift up for peace, and your unreverent knees make them your feet to kneel to be forgiven. You'll put down strangers, kill them, cut their throats, possess their houses, and leave the majesty of law in Lion to slip him like a hound. Say now, the king, as he is clement if the offender mourn, should so much come too short of your great trespass as but to banish you. Whither would you go? What country, by nature of your error, should give you harbor? Go you to France or Flanders? To any German province? To Spain or Portugal? Nay, anywhere that not adheres to England? Why, you must needs be strangers. Would you be pleased to find a nation of such barbarous temper that, breaking out in hideous violence, would not afford you an abode on earth? Whet their detested knives against your throats, spurn you like dogs, and like as if that God owed not nor made not you, nor that the elements were not all appropriate to your comforts, but chartered unto them. What would you think to be thus used? This is the stranger's case. And this, your mountainish inhumanity.
Come, poor remains of friends, sit upon this rock.
Lucius showed the torchlight, but my lady, he came not back. He is ta'en or slain.
Sit thee down, Metellus. Slaying is the word. It is a deed in fashion. Hark thee, Metellus.
I'll rather kill myself.
Hark thee, Metellus.
Shall I do such a deed?
By this, Metellus, the ghost of Caesar hath appeared to me several times by night. At Sardis once, and here, this last night in Philippi fields, I know my hour is come.
Not so, my lady.
Nay, I am sure it is, Metellus. Thou seest the world, Metellus. Our enemies have beat us to the pit. Hold then my sword hilts whilst I do run upon it. Farewell to you. And you, Metellus. Cassius, thou hast been all this while asleep. Farewell to thee too, friend. Countrymen, my heart doth joy that yet in all my life I found no man, but he was true to me. I shall have glory by this losing day, more than Octavius or Mark Antony in this vile conquest that this shall attain unto. So farewell to you at once. For Brutus's tongue hath almost ended her life's history. Night hangs upon mine eyes. My bones would rest that have but labored to attain this hour.
Fly, my lady. Fly.
I prithee, Metellus, stay thee by thy lady. Thou art a fellow of good respect. Thy life have had a smatch of honor in it. Hold then my sword and turn thy face away, wilt thou?
Give me your hand first. Fare you well, my lady.
Farewell, good Metellus. Oh. Caesar, now be still. He killed not thee with half so good a will.
Thank you for tuning in to the Glass Horse Project's Beware the Ides, a socially distant Shakespeare series. Join us again tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on YouTube Live for the closing of our program. If you like what you saw, please consider donating to our GoFundMe campaign, which is currently being promoted on the Facebook event page for this series. There is also a link in the description. Thank you, and have a great night.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our actor and director talkback and interview for episode 4 of Beware the Eyes. We have our director, Taylor K. Corbett, joining us from the venue at the Rotch-Jones-Duff house. And we also have 3 of our talented actors here this evening as well. We have Mayreed Dandino, Megan Bright, and Kyle Imbo was there for a second and then not back. That's good. That's good. We're rocking the Zoom right now.
Kyle Limbo is having lots of Zoom trouble right now. Apologies in advance.
Fine, your scene was flawless. Good work. So everybody, if you're still tuning in and you want to ask any questions to any of these lovely people, please do write questions into the stream, and they will be relayed to me by our amazing streaming wizard, Brad Costa. We actually have a question right out of the gate from Miss Riley Fortin. Question is for
Who's that?
Who Riley? This question is for Kyle. Could you talk about how you developed Petruchio's character? He's so different from past roles you've played, and yet you still nailed it.
First of all, thank you, Riley. This is not a role that I would ever have in a million years picked for myself or seen myself in. And one of the first things Megan and Taylor said to me was that they were looking for someone who would not traditionally be cast as Petruchio. And to me, he could not be further from myself. So the first few rehearsals, I had a difficult time settling into his, for lack of a better word, douchiness. To me, he's like the prototype of like the Vineyard Vines frat boy douchebag type. And
Wow.
that was essentially the basis for this Petruchio, was that kind of almost like misogynistic asshole. I'm blanking
was
on
it for overconfidence?
exactly. Like overconfident, pompous, horrible man. My absolute least favorite kind of person. And in a way, it was the most fun I've ever had being a person that I absolutely hate.
Was there anything that you did appreciate about his character? I mean, tell us how you really, really feel about it.
I wish I had the kind of confidence that Petruchio does sometimes.
Yeah.
That is the only thing from him that I think I'll continue to carry with me.
Petruchio redeemed. Mayreed, Riley would also love for you to discuss how you developed Kate, because she is also a character that is very different from your inherent personality. So it'd be great.
Why does Riley know everybody's past?
Oh my gosh. So I also loved playing Kate and just the differences. Although I can see me and Kate having a little bit more similarity, just with the tiredness that you get from having experienced the same thing from, Petruchio's kind of man, and she keeps being presented with this this asshole who's completely ingenuine and just, kind of doing these run-of-the-mills pickup lines to try to get to her, get with her, or kind of win her. And so she's so sick of trying to be won over that when Petruchio combats her with just her same level of just vinegar, that it's actually, it makes sparks fly a little bit. And so I tried to play more with the intrigue instead of just wanting to beat him up, because that's, traditionally what Kate would probably do. She'd just go after him with a wooden spoon.
That's actually a great lead-in. We have a couple questions for you. One is about Kate and the other is about Metellus. So we'll start with Kate for a second. So this is from Liz Ripley. Can you explain how you felt about Kate when you first read the scene, given that Taming of the Shrew is one of the hardest to transfer to a modern audience?
So when I first read the scene, I was just like, I guess I was intimidated by just like the volume of like comebacks and wittiness, and like I honestly sat there thinking like I'm gonna need to go through all of these lines and dissect it like word for word so I understand every single thing that's going on, because you know Shakespeare is something that's new to me, and so I guess my first reaction was just intimidation by the scene itself, and with it being so hard to transfer to a modern audience, I guess I just have to say that I was relying on guidance from assistant director and director, and you know, getting their take on it, because Kate could be a modern woman. She is a modern woman. I guess I wanted to give her that quality so she wasn't as unlikable as the character could be. The same with Petruchio. I mean, Petruchio could be a very unlikable character. So I hope that we didn't just come across as both completely unlikable, terrible people.
I think it was pretty charming, personally.
I had fun with it.
Do you guys have a favorite line from the scene? There are so many doozies. Like, which one did you say every time, and in your head you were like, ha ha ha?
Kyle, do you want to go first?
Oh, I'm sorry. This whole time I've been like trying to piece together the laggy whatever.
Did you hear my question, Kyle? Do you want me to ask it again?
Yes.
Could you share what your favorite line from the piece is?
Oh no.
Who knows?
Okay, well, I really loved the line. There were two lines that were my favorite. And if I be waspish, best beware my sting. It is like such a threatening line, but it's, in fact, I think it's the most flirtatious line in the entire scene. Like, if I be waspish, best beware my sting, because she's warning him in a way. Like, I'm not like a sweet person to deal with. And my second favorite was definitely I chafe you if I tarry, let me go, because that's the second time that she's like, you've proven yourself, you can go now. Like it was kind of a approval. that scene was.
That's exactly how you said it too.
I am glad.
Kyle, can you hear us now? Are you good?
I can barely hear you. I'm so sorry, but I did get the question.
All right, we can hear you. So hit us with a line very quickly before you cut out again. Go.
I'm sorry.
What was your favorite line, honey?
My favorite line, yes.
Oh, Kyle
I love the entire little Kate is sweeter than springtime flowers blurb, not only because it has been the only thing in my brain for like 2 weeks as I try to memorize it, but the sarcasm of it, where I'm sure Petruchio believes Kate to be beautiful. I'm sure he believes these things about her, but the snarkiness of it, the like implication that she's almost not worthy of these comments and that he finds humor in that, I've always been entertained by that little interaction. Especially I feel like I'm just walking around being like, why does the world report that Kate doth limp all the time now?
If we ever meet in person.
The first thing I'll say.
That's
Great.
right. I forgot you've never met each other.
in 2022, you better remember.
No, my brother knows Kyle better than I do.
Yes.
School.
Well, I think you both turned into certified SAS machines from this scene, so congratulations. Mayreed, I'm going to hold on the Metellus question and pop over to Megan for a second. So Megan is joining us from the great state of New York. Hi, Megan.
Hey. Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So you actually submitted this piece for the Sir Thomas More piece to us for the program. And I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about your personal connection to the piece and why you submitted it to us.
Yeah. So, well, I auditioned for Caesar many moons ago when that was supposed to be a thing that was going to be live, and then I realized that you guys are all the way in Massachusetts and I'm in New York, so I couldn't really participate in that. And then Taylor said they would contact me if they went on the internet, and we did, which I was so excited about. And they gave me the theme of like social injustice, and I asked around, and I was like, well, I wasn't really sure what piece, and as soon as I heard this one, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Especially this piece like really speaks to me, especially with everything that's going on today with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's really easy to feel great empathy towards the words that like Sir Thomas More speaks about the way that people are hurt and don't care about strangers in the way that they should. Yeah, so I feel like this piece is just really like advocating for taking care of each other and taking care of people who you don't know, just because why, like, what are the other, like, what else do we have if we don't have love for each other? So this piece has become really important to me over the past couple of weeks when we've been rehearsing. And I'm so glad that you guys had me and that I was able to do it.
Us too. I also hope that you use this as an audition piece in the future.
Oh, yeah, I know. I definitely would. I'd probably be a little bit too long. I'm not sure how many people would listen to me do like 2 pages full of Shakespeare, but well, thanks. But yeah, I definitely will keep on working on this piece.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Let's pop back to Mayreed for a second. So this is a question from Jill Smith about Metellus. I love the death scene with Brutus. Was it difficult to try and coordinate that with Angelique?
No. I mean, Angelique was really great to work with, and I felt like we complemented each other really well, which is awesome because like when you have that chemistry, then things just fall into place. And so I felt that's what happened with the Metellus scene. And with every scene, I try to like bring something that would have to do with Mayreed to the scene and try to like work that in and make it easier. And so I could definitely like picture someone who I think very highly of, someone who I'm very good friends with, like on the other end of this Zoom call. I also haven't met Angelique in person at all, but it's cool how we've gotten to make those connections, even though they're not face to face, to make these scenes happen. So yeah, coordinating it wasn't too big a deal. It was awesome to have that.
I know that Taylor in particular is very much looking forward to blocking and creating that particular scene in 2022. I'm going to pop over to Taylor for a second. So we had to pivot to digital for this and decided to make it more of a compilation of scenes from Shakespeare rather than going forth with the full-on Caesar, because we wanted to save that and then we can actually stab each other. So Taylor, how did you go about selecting the Caesar pieces for our digital format? And then what was sort of the process of adding in the non-Caesar pieces?
So I wanted to give like one of the stories of Caesar without like giving away the whole story. So I focused in on the death of Caesar and how all of that worked together. We'd initially thought about maybe doing all the conspirators meeting, and there was going to be like 12 people on a Zoom screen. None of you would have been able to see any of us, so it wouldn't have really helped. But I wanted to grab like essentially the build up to the death of Caesar and then the reaction to it from some of the bigger characters. And I think what we did is it's an interesting way to present the story of like, oh, you get a little blip of it each night of, okay, that's another piece of the story, that's another piece of the story. And were they in order, Megan? I don't remember. I think they were. Yeah, they were. All right, cool. That's what I was hoping, because that's what I wanted. But we put them in order of how they would have happened in the show. And decided to just build like a pseudo version of the story that way.
I guess
And then
they were not technically in order now that I think about it, because we started with the death speech from Brutus. But I think that we had to make those swaps because of the turn to digital.
oh yeah, well, and we had to, part of our goal with doing this digitally was to have everybody in the venue do all of our scenes here, but with the pandemic, things just, we didn't feel safe or comfortable necessarily having everybody come here and having people be on stage with each other, sharing their jokes. So we decided to narrow that down to just some monologues and do that at the venue and then host from the venue and do everything else over Zoom. And as far as selecting other scenes go, once we just couldn't do Caesar anymore, I still wanted to do something very political. And I wanted the actors to have the opportunity to find things that they were passionate about so that we could really explore them and make them come to life for the actors and for everybody watching. And there were some scenes that like Megan picked out or my assistant director Corey found that we doled out to people, but for the most part, I wanted to try to give the actors that freedom of helping us build this show with things that they were passionate about. Because, I mean, one thing that I try to avoid when I'm working in theater, and that I think everyone should avoid when they work in theater, is just doing a job because it's a job. Like, for a while, yeah, you got to do that kind of stuff. You got to build up your resume. You got to be able to make some money with things that you may not enjoy fully. But if you don't give yourself those passion projects where it's like, you can remind yourself, oh, this is why I do theater, then, kind of, the theater doesn't lose its luster, but it starts to become not quite as fun as you're used to it being. So yeah, I just wanted to give them that.
Back over to Megan. A couple questions in the stream for you.
Oh my.
Yes. So first one. Well, first of all, my name's Megan too, and Brad typed Megan to me, and I was like, "This is not a question for me."
You're like,
So the first one is from Elise. She is asking, "What is your favorite part of the text and why?"
My favorite part of the text is definitely and like as if that God owed not nor made not you, nor that the elements were all not appropriate to your comforts, but chartered unto them. That line, when I first heard this speech, like really resonated with me, especially with everything that's going on today. It's like so many people are othering people and treating people differently because they don't look the same, because they don't act the same, because they don't feel the same way. But like, we've all come from the same place. Like, we're all cut from the same cloth. And so that really spoke to me. It's like just because what's going on doesn't fit what you think is right doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I like that whole chunk and the way all the way to the end, because it's like, why do you feel like you're any better than anyone else just because someone might be a little different from you? And when I heard that text, I was like, oh, this piece is really important. Yeah, those words really spoke to me. And when I heard them, I was like, yep, this is the one.
Another question from Jill. We're back to Jill Smith. Did you ever feel a sense of disconnect streaming in from New York, like you were just an add-on, or was it easy to feel like a part of the family in episode 4?
No, it was actually, I was so excited when I got the email from Taylor, because she had been my friend on Facebook, and I was like, yay, whatever. But I really felt like I was just like put right in there. Like, I didn't really feel like, I didn't feel like any kind of disconnect, because it's all over Zoom. Maybe if everyone was like in this space together and I was just hanging out in the corner in New York, that might have been different. But yeah, no, I thought that everything was run really well and directed really well. So like, I had my independent rehearsals with Taylor and Corey and Megan, and those were great. And then once we all started running together, it just kind of was like, oh, cool. Now I get to see what everybody else is doing and like how great everyone else is.
Awesome. Well, we don't have any more questions in the stream, so I'm going to give a closing question to Taylor to see if she has any additional thoughts she'd like to add about episode 4. I know there were some really strong scenes in here, so any last words on 4?
I think one thing that this episode kind of, as we watched it, or as, I had the stream on my phone while I was waiting to come back out here again, I realized, like, the variety of things that happened in this episode. We go from a scene where two friends are essentially breaking up to this, like, super flirty, like, super witty scene where, like, Kyle is sitting all like, hey, how's it going? And like, you guys were just like playing a game together and having fun. I'm looking over there. I should be looking at the camera for this. And then we go into a scene about, the mistreatment of immigrants. And then we jump into a scene that is essentially an assisted suicide, which I really like getting actors to be able to feel real things and be really in the moment. And I feel like we got that with all of these scenes. And it was just particularly interesting to work on scenes like Thomas More or the Brutus Metellus scene, because then we could get into, like, what is it like to have to say goodbye to somebody in this way? And with the Thomas More scene, it was, how do we make this personal to you? Because, like, it isn't right for anyone to be going after a minority or an immigrant or anybody just for the sake that they are. But what's your personal connection to the people you see there? Like, you see a person about to be attacked by, let's say, a white supremacist, and like, what's your reaction to that? That's much more personable than just saying that you're talking about the idea of not being discriminatory. So finding those little moments and like weaving them into the scene was really, really fun for me. And I hope it was fun for the actors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have fun?
Oh, for sure.
Cool.
Some tears were nearly shed at the last scene, but that's okay.
Well, I think we're going to wrap things up for the evening. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thank you to our awesome actors and director for sticking around to chat for a bit. If you liked what you saw and you want to support our upcoming season in 2021, we have a GoFundMe campaign running right now. So please check it out. It's in the description of all of our episodes, as well as pinned to the top of our Facebook page. So please check it out and come back tomorrow night for the close of our program at 8 p.m. on YouTube Live. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.